we live in very peculiar times where it seems no one guilty is ever held accountable, but innocent people are often raked across the coals and bankrupted and threatened with prison. Welcome to Washington, D.C. Welcome to politics. If you're looking for a civilized way to go through life, politics is probably not the business for you, because it is not a civilized business. It is not a good business. It is not a pond stocked with quality people either. It's a terrible business, an awful business filled with horrible, awful, terrible people. It's politics, and that's why, the back and forth and the back and forth. And we had to send in President Trump. We had to send in Donald Trump. Hey, here's Mitt Romney. Just be nice. And, well, they're not interested in being nice. So Mitt Romney was not up to the task, and John McCain, God bless him, also not up to the task. Go along to get along, no big deal. Just my last job in government. What about me? But that's another discussion for another day. President Trump is the president of the United States, and he continues to fight and brawl with the Democrats and the media, but I repeat myself, for their corruption, their individual and collective corruption. They work in concert. There's a lot of collusion, as you're doubtless aware, between the Democrat Party and the what we call the news media. They're not really a legitimate fourth estate. This is kind of, have you seen this, Mike? This is catching on to people. A lot of people now just saying, we really don't have we don't have a legitimate press. It's long overdue, I think, for people to step up and be saying this stuff. But welcome to the fight. This time I know we'll win, as a line from Casablanca. But we are in it, and President Trump is in it to win it. He is in this fight, and he continues to throw punches. And and look, you got to take it to court. You can come out and hold all the press conferences, and they've got these hearings, state after state. Yesterday it was in Michigan, with people, whistleblowers, describing the inappropriate conduct, the fraud, the manipulation of votes that they witnessed. And an interesting collection of people from all walks of life. As I say, if they were Democrats, you've got women of color and immigrants, and you've got all these great Americans who are stepping up, and not all of them, they're not saying, I'm a Republican and what I saw is terrible, because not all of them are Republicans, but you've got this, it looks like, the United Colors of Benetton, when you look at the people testifying, the whistleblowers, as to what they saw for the corrupt stuff that they saw. And the news media, I guess, because they're racist and misogynist, they just don't cover this stuff. And it's their frothy mental illness having to do with President Trump and their hatred for him and everything about him and everyone that supports him. It's hatred is their family value. It's like the Manson family. And the Manson family values today's Democrat Party. But we'll get into that, because President Trump, in his speech, we pulled a whole bunch of audio from there. We also have audio from yesterday's hearing and some other stuff that we didn't get to yesterday. Hopefully we can get in today because of our technical difficulties, don't you know? And Joe Biden is so crazy. He's out there and he's got his family. He's babbling. He's, I got a big family. I don't even know how big my family is. And you can't be traveling in these holidays, so they want to cancel Christmas now. They did their best to cancel Thanksgiving. They want to cancel businesses across America, cancel capitalism. They want to cancel Christmas now. Joe Biden, he says we're likely to lose 250,000 dead between now and January. That's it. It's what he said, Joe Biden, yesterday. Now, just for the record, for Democrats following along, today is December 3rd. They're 31 days in December, isn't it right? And then you have January, and I guess because he said now in January, not the beginning of January, could mean the end of January. So he's predicting apparently 250,000 dead Americans in 30 to 60 days. Now that's not based on science or anything else. That's just based on Joe Biden's brain not working very well. But they put that out there. And that's okay, because, the media, what am I going to tell you? And speaking of the media, all kinds of crazy things to get to. You see these three Democrat members of the House of Representatives saddling up with these anti-Semites over the weekend. It's good to be a Democrat. Anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, terrorists. They love their terrorists, they love their terrorists. And three Democrats, you'll never guess who they are. You could guess two of them. The third one's kind of an obscure figure. But two of them are pretty obvious. They're, of course, from the death squad, the Democrat Party death squad. And saddling up with these anti-Semites. The Democrat Party is an anti-Semitic party. and they're anti-Israel, and it's kind of hard to be anti-Israel and not be anti-Semitic. Oh no, no, it's a very nuanced understanding of my own beliefs. Yeah. If you're, it's the only Jewish state. If you're against the only Jewish state, you're an anti-Semite. Okay, it's like you can't be anti-Germany without being anti-German people. No, I'm not against the German people. I'm just virulently anti-Germany. Oh, okay, well that makes a lot of sense. But I'll get into that because these Democrats, they just the media just gives them a free pass on everything. If these were three Republicans going to participating in this conference with these virulent anti-Semites, it would be a news story. That would be a news story. But we'll get into that. Since they're Democrats, not a news story because dirty, rotten, filthy, phony, corrupt media. That's just a bunch of Democrat Party toadies and stooges, and that's what they're not honest people. But the Democrat, there are so many great Democrat stories today. Joe Biden, one of the things Joe Biden is promising is on LGBTQIAA plus issues, including making sure that transgender people are welcome in the military, in the United States military, and because that'll make it better. And then the high school athletics and college athletics, and I guess grammar school too, because now they got their kids converting at the age of 3 and 4. Saw that thing in the phony church, the left-wing church, a couple of weeks ago with the 4-year-old child, a little boy, being tortured in front of the congregation and declaring that he's really a girl. Because he's 4 years old and he knows, and that's what they got going on. But Joe Biden will have your daughters competing against biological males in athletic events and taking their scholarships away and scholarship money and college educations and so on. Girls that has girls that run track and field girls and so on, and now competing against men, biological men, who say that they're girls. They're kind of like Ellen Page, that actress Ellen Page, who is now Elliot Page, and she is now he because she said so 2 days ago. So the entirety of the news media now calls her him or they and them because apparently multiple personality disorder of some kind, and now he's Elliot instead of she being Ellen because she said so. And that's it. Well, I've always been, she says, a man trapped in a woman's body. That's why I'm going like this with my hand. And, that's it. That's the Democrat Party. Very confused party about a whole lot of things. Joe Biden is a perfect representative of the party in the state of confusion that exists today because he, too, resides in that state of confusion. But he would have this is part of their big plan. These are promises, you see, promises, and they're gonna the transgender military and then the transgender athletic competitions. Now I don't know where it had to be on Fox News. Who else would carry it? Maybe Newsmax or OANN. 3 young ladies who were high school athletes who were in line to get scholarships, but young biological males came in and defeated them soundly. Trounced them in athletic competitions, track and field, and their hopes of athletic scholarships were dashed because young biological males, people with external genitalia and without wombs, instead got their scholarships and their scholarship money. And these 3 high school girls are kind of smiling their way through it and saying, well, what do you want? This is what the Democrats have done. We've got girls competing against men. They're high school seniors and so on. They're old enough to join the Marine Corps, and they're beating girls in the high hurdles. And the girls are told to sit down and shut up because the Democrats say so. And Joe Biden plans on institutionalizing that, codifying that, making that the law of the land. Not by going through Congress or anything, but by executive fiat, which is apparently how he plans on doing everything. And the media is all with him on this. Just everything. Just to skip Congress. Who needs Congress? Just use executive authority. You got a pen and a phone. Make it happen. Make it so, number one. And they and they're all happy about that. It's quite remarkable. These people are really something. Also, a couple of fun headlines today. Biden gives hope to Guantanamo prisoners for release. I'm sorry, what? What is the... That's right. Biden gives hope to Guantanamo Bay terrorist prisoners, detainees there, unlawful enemy combatants at Guantanamo Bay, for release, because now the Democrats are they figure Joe Biden's coming in and he's going to be the president. And at Guantanamo Bay, they're high-fiving each other and plotting to kill Jews and stuff. And then the Democrats, Joe Biden leading the way, he wants to release these people, as many people. Obama was all about this too, trying to release as many Gitmos as possible so that they may murder the infidel again. And of course, providing $150 billion to the world's #1 state sponsor of terror in Iran, and telling them to go ahead and continue spinning centrifuges and enriching uranium and advancing your ballistic missile program and writing death to Israel and death to America on the nose cones when you're launching your missile. That's, you know who's happy about the idea of Jason? Not just the media that happy about the idea of Joe Biden possibly becoming the next president of the United States. They're very happy in communist Cuba. They're happy there. They're definitely happy. They're very happy in communist China. Very happy in communist China because they've got young Biden over a barrel as it is. In Venezuela, they're happy. In Iran, they're happy. In Russia, let's be honest, they're happy if Joe Biden comes in rather than President Trump. Don't kid you. The stories that we're hearing from these witnesses, from these people on the record signing affidavits and so on. There was a lady there yesterday barking at one of the lawmakers in Michigan saying, listen, I signed a document saying that I could go to jail if what I said is a lie, and said to the lawmaker, how about you? Did you do the same? And stumped him pretty good. But the president and his team are out there, and they're making the case. They're holding hearings. They're bringing whistleblowers out. They're presenting the case to the press. The press is spiking it and burying the story because they're Democrats and not journalists. They're not truth seekers. They're not fair and honest arbiters of what's going on here. They're partisan hacks overwhelmingly. There are a few exceptions, but I got to say, I was in the news business, as most of you I think probably know. I was with CNN for a long, long time, back when it was the most trusted name in news, and then I left, and they lost that title, that mantle. They can no longer claim that. That's for sure. But and I had to leave because it was like, paraphrase Ronald Reagan, I didn't leave journalism, journalism left me. I didn't leave CNN, CNN left me. And I was embarrassed to say what I did for a living when I was out in public, so I knew at that time it was past time to leave the news business and to leave CNN, and so I did. And it was good, and it's one of the best things I ever did. When I was there, it was more or less a news organization. Most people were interested in doing the news. Now, not so much.